So I just joined the server. I think I'm gonna try and make it outpost. A little bit of scrap. Oh, yeah. Damn. I thought this would be unlooted, but that's okay. We'll just have to keep on trucking. Is that cloth? It would appear to be some cloth there, boys. Some cloth there, boys. Is airfield radiated? I don't remember. Cause I might get absolutely pummeled if I go to the. What is this guy selling? God damn. I think it was white. I think it was yesterday. People already got this fucking massive shit down. Like I could have just fucking abolished me. Hmm. Fucking hell.
Easy loot.
You've got one apple. What do you mean? Kai ate my apple. What a bitch. I'm gonna check my oven really fast. Just stuck some taters in the. Oh, I stood up. Look at that. I'm damn near dead, but. Excuse me. Bruh. You bitch.
It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice. Get that right. You've tried the best, now try the rest. No, damn it. Today we're talking about The Outer Worlds, a game I've been playing quite a bit of over on Twitch. I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/Greg from HTD. And so today we're gonna make concentrated distillate from The Outer Worlds. There's a few drinks mentioned in this game. They're mostly bottled drinks. There's Zero Gravity Brew, there's Spectrum Vodka. Those are the two that come to mind. There's a few others I know. Those aren't really mixed drinks, and I could try to do some kind of a riff on one of those, but I think that in the case like this, where we have a very clear mixed drink reference in the game, we gotta start there. A few people have mentioned to me that the character of Ellie,
I'm sorry, am I causing a scene?
when you recruit her in the game, will tell you her recipe for a cocktail that she invented. I think her recipe, if I'm not mistaken, is very simple. It's Spectrum Vodka and a Zero G brew, or whatever else you have at hand. I don't really know, that doesn't really give me a lot to go on, especially in light of concentrated distillate, which we find written on the wall at one of Auntie Cleo's facilities. I think that's where we found that at. Yeah, at the Auntie Cleo lab. That recipe is for a very large batch. I'm gonna take the exact same ratio and scale it down to something that will fit into this pot and also on my show. The pot that I would need to use to cook that would be like. And what is concentrated distillate? So it's a combination of apple cider and apple juice and whipped cream vodka and Everclear and some sugar and spices, and essentially it is imitation apple pie moonshine is what it is. I think I've tried that once. Someone gave me a jar of apple pie moonshine. I can't recall. Not really my thing. But we're gonna make it today for you, because that's what we do here at Spacer's Choice. I wish I had the moon head to wear. Oh, that'd be great if I could have that moon head.
You would never ask if you knew what it's like in here.
It becomes you. There's nothing in here but nightmares and sweat. I love that character.
I think it's part of me now.
I haven't seen his face yet. I don't know if he ever comes off, but I just assume Judge Reinhold is in there working one of his many jobs in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
It doesn't work that way. You see, I have to fill out a form, and, well, you ate most of it already.
And if you're interested, I'm playing a game. I'm playing like what I call a desperation game. People ask me a lot in my comments, what kind of build are you going for? I'm like, I don't really know if I have a build that I'm aiming for. I'm playing the game on Supernova mode, so I've got every party member I've recruited so far has died within minutes of being recruited, and then they don't come back in Supernova mode. So I'm just like dumping stats points into whatever stat seems to be keeping me alive the longest. I guess I am angling towards the idea of the character being a talker. I took the beverage dispensing tech bartender background, but you know, people evolve. You know, you were a talker, and now you have to shoot things to stay alive. So maybe you're not so much a talker anymore. We'll see. I'm just playing the game. Having a lot of fun with that. Looking forward to getting back to Dark Souls though too. Okay, so I'm gonna do this with my kitchen scale. I'm gonna set this though to fluid ounces because I haven't converted all these weights. We're gonna bounce around a little bit with that. And we're gonna start with our organic apple juice. This is a lot of apple juice. For some reason, Whole Foods will not sell me a smaller, like a whole carboy of apple juice. It's kind of ridiculous. For the scaled down 8th scale recipe for this, I want to do 16 ounces. There we go, 16 ounces. 16 fluid ounces. And I want 16 fluid ounces of this sweet cider. Some debate, I think, does the recipe for concentrated distillate refer to sweet cider, i.e. non-alcoholic cider, or a traditional actual apple cider, an alcoholic cider, a hard cider if you prefer. I don't know. I do know that we're adding a lot of Everclear and vodka to this. It does seem kind of pointless to add more alcohol.
Come on,
like
bro. I'm just
cider.
trying to play game.
16 fluid ounces.
I
of
just
sweet
spawned,
cider.
bro.
I'm gonna throw
Come
in,
on, bro.
4
No!
Easy peasy. I want 1.5 cups of sugar. Well, not that. Actually, I want to divide that by 8. So I worked it out. It was 215 grams. 215 divided by 8.
Where I spawn at?
26.875.
Fucking
Thank you,
hell,
Ada.
bro.
27 grams. And so 28 grams of granulated sugar. And so now I need 28 grams of light brown sugar, which, you know, it clumps up pretty good. There we go. 28 grams of light brown sugar. And stop. We're going to stop right there. And we will set this to start simmering. I've got a little hot plate here from IKEA. It's 40 bucks, little induction burner. It's the way I like to do things. I don't have a spoon handy, so I'm just going to stir it with this swizzle stick. That's what that is. And we're going to let that simmer. While that's simmering, I will stage my alcoholic ingredients. Once again, I'll be setting this to milliliter mode.
Bro, I just spawned,
That's
goddammit.
fluid ounces, milliliters, grams. It's just
Son of a bitch.
me working. You'll see the tools I have to work with. I always think of that guy from the first Batman movie by Tim Robbins.
Unbelievable.
Okay, then.
Tim
Well,
Burton.
can you finish me?
Tim Robbins' Batman. That one was shelved. Nobody saw it. It was a weird film. It was they cut tape heads from the.
I can't really hear you. Your mic is really quiet. What did you say?
Footage what they had. So anyway, we see tape heads? No, anybody? So I want 95 milliliters of Everclear. Oh man, nailed it! 95 on the button. And now we want some whipped cream vodka. And as you can see, I've got some excellent whipped cream vodka. It comes in a big plastic jug. Ooh, yeah. I love the snap of a fresh bottle of whipped cream vodka. 125 milliliters of whipped cream vodka. Here we go. All right, that's it. We are done with our scale. I bought this kitchen scale on Amazon. I'll provide an affiliate link in the pinned comment below. It's a handy one. I like this one because it does less than a gram. It'll do tenths of a gram, which is necessary for certain gastro stuff. You have to get under a gram. But most of your under a gram scales are little tiny ones that go in your dealer's pocket, or they are real big bench grade $300 laboratory scales. So you have to do some poking around to find a sub-gram scale that's like suitable for kitchen use, really, and in that price range. This one's pretty cheap. It works. It seems accurate enough. My only complaint about it is that it's not like a sealed waterproof unit. So I did get some liquid in between these two cracks here, and then I had to let it dry out for 2 or 3 days before it would work properly again. A flowering endorsement. All right, well, this is really right where we want it. This is nice and hot. I think at this point we're just gonna turn the heat off. And now we just dump the alcohol in, rather unceremoniously. We stir that sucker up, and now I will divide this between mason jars. I'm gonna throw 2 cinnamon sticks into each mason jar, both to continue a cinnamon infusion process, but also because it looks nice. All right, and I'm just gonna use this to hold back anything that might otherwise fall into there. And there we have our concentrated distillate, filled to the top of a mason jar and sealed. This should stay in a cool, dry place for a long time before it goes bad. Let's see how this old concentrated distillate, also, it's the exact opposite of concentrated distillate. This is diluted distillate. We took a distillate and diluted the hell out of it, so I don't know what that's a reference to. I'm going to go out on a, all right, this is just like, I saw somewhere in a comment on a Reddit thread or somebody replied to a photo, because you find the recipe on a wall, it's written on a wall. Somebody posted it on a forum or on a thread somewhere, and they said, oh, like the apple pie drink that's popular at cons. And I was like, what? Popular? So maybe the concentrated distillate is a reference to this being popular at cons? But then I asked around on my Discord server, I looked around for that information, like, I find no association between apple pie drink and cons. Nobody seemed to know what that was about. I did find a Reddit thread that had 8 upvotes on it from about 5 years ago about a guy who was making a big batch of basically this exact recipe to bring to a convention he was going to. Not to sell or anything, but I think just to have. Is it possible that the cons and like this joke is a reference to a Reddit thread that got 8 upvotes? Or that possibly the person who posted that thread was one of the game developers? Could be, could be. Oh. It smells, honestly, I want to say it smells like apple pie, but it doesn't. It smells a little bit more like, it smells like tanning butter. A little bit. Eminently drinkable, though. It does taste a lot like taking an apple pie and throwing it into a blender. It's pretty great. I think that my my standards have just become dramatically lower. I'm okay with this. I mean, this is sweet. This is a desserty drink. It is like an apple pie that's been tossed in a blender and strained that gets you drunk. There is like a hint of something that tastes like tanning oil smells. It's a little coconutty. A little bit. Like a little bit. Which is funny. I think that that's gotta come from this whipped cream vodka. It's not unwelcome at all. I actually think it's pretty cool. It's a very subtle hint. There's a lot of subtleties and nuances in this concentrated distillate. It's good. Great. I mean, well, thank you, the Outer Worlds. I'll be making up a big batch of this now. Damn. All this time I've been making these complicated cocktails and stuff. You've been doing this. Son of a bitch. I'm having it hot right now, which I'm enjoying. I think it might go down, like the heat of it is preventing me from drinking it very fast, which is good. I think if it were cold, you would just be able to like chug this. I like it hot though, honestly. I think it makes for a great hot drink. I did a spiked apple cider on the show last year. You should definitely check out that video, but I think this is the better recipe. I'm embarrassed to say. Got no time for bootlickers. Fucking bootlickers. I think that's the guy's name is Phineas, something or other. He's great. I like him.
Phineas Nightjar.
Not likely, bootlickers.
I like Phineas. My favorite characters in the game, Phineas, the guy who wakes you up, like him.
Yep.
And then there's a freelancer kind of pirate lady. I wish you could recruit her. She's just like an angry anti-corporate. Yeah, I like her. I like her.
Let's make a deal. I'd like to go on living. You'd probably like to make some money.
Most of the
Fair.
people you meet in the game are real bootlickers. Oh, I do have one thought. The bartenders, I've met 3 bartenders in the game. Are they all the
Oh
same
my
woman?
gosh.
Am I crazy? Like I haven't, maybe that's a plot point that somebody like in my Twitch stream pointed out that like, oh, they're all related. And I think they were joking, but maybe they weren't. If they're further in the game and they found out that they're all related because they really look identical to me. My barware is provided by Barfly Mixology Gear. They are down there in that pinned comment just below me. And so if you want any of the tools I'm using, you can pick them up right there. My watches are provided courtesy of Crown and Caliber, good friends of mine. There's a link in the pinned comment below. You should check them out. If you want to know more about watches, that's a great place to start. They also have a YouTube channel. You might want to give that a look. If you like a hot drink this time of year, why don't you check out my Hot Toddy? That's a pretty good one to check out. Why don't you check that out? If you want to hang out with me while I play The Outer Worlds, I don't know why you would, but you can. I'm over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Greg from HTD. That's where I play video games and stuff, like The Outer Worlds. I'm a big fan of The Outer Worlds, by the way, too. I should get this in there. Outer Worlds. Made by Obsidian, made by, if I'm not mistaken, Tim Kaine. It is great. People keep asking me, do you get the Fallout vibes from it in my Twitch? Like that exact phrase came up like 30 times at least in the comments. Do you get the Fallout vibes? I get the Fallout New Vegas vibes from it. I mean, but I don't know that I get Fallout vibes from New Vegas. New Vegas had to be created in a world where Fallout 3 existed and like the tone had been set by Bethesda. It had to be a sequel to that. I think that a lot of people give Bethesda a lot of credit for getting like this retro future,
Fucking hell,
the humor and the comedy's right. I don't think so, actually. In Fallout 1 and 2, when you're kind of reading most of the dialogue, you can read it in the voice in your head, and it all came out really dark for me. It wasn't like super funny. Like a lot of it was, there's some jokes in there for sure, but like I distinctly remember one of that always will linger with me, meeting the girl in Mom's Diner in Fallout 2 and having a conversation with her.
Goddamn, that's
and in
sketchy.
the course of the conversation, she's telling you about a pet that her family had. She realizes that the cat didn't go missing. That they were starving, and Mom and Dad slaughtered the cat and fed her the cat, and that's how they got to live. And I was like, that was the tone of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 for me. It's like dark and depressing, and like about people just like struggling to survive. And then I think Bethesda kind of flipped the script, and everybody kind of applauded them for it. I don't know why. I do get Fallout New Vegas vibes, and in a good way. I liked New Vegas a lot, and I think that visually and like, I don't know why, but it feels a lot like BioShock.
God damn, can't catch a fucking break, dude. Fucking pussies, dude. God damn it, dude. I just can't get anything started. Like, Rust is so fucking hard by yourself, dude. It's not even funny. How long do I have left on my taters? Five minutes.
Rock Unlimited, a game I really enjoyed. That just might be me. I don't know. It doesn't give me Fallout 1 and 2 vibes, though.
Fucking
I mean,
hell,
just because like
dude.
there's a
Literally
bombastic
just
quality to the
spawned. Just kill me,
delivery
dude.
and the characters, and it's justified. I think actually, it feels right for the setting. I'm on Instagram at How to Drink. I'm on Twitter at How to Drink. I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/howtodrink. I hope you like my show. If you like my show, please check out one of my other
Where's that
videos,
fucker at?
like
Just
this
finish
hot
me
toddy
off, man.
or this spiked apple cider. Wouldn't that be nice of you? Thank you so much. Check out my Twitch too. I'd really appreciate that. Actually, that was good. That was good. I don't have like a solid button. I'm just gonna stand here and enjoy this sweet, sweet concentrated distillate.
I've got to run the roads to get fucking scrap, but fucking hell can't get anywhere without fucking dying.
I'll be there for you like you needed it. How do the lyrics go to that song? I'll be there for you like you want me to.
Starts to fall. We've done too many singing opens lately.
But the fans love it.
Do they?
They patch it.
Alright, so
you
this
can't
is
climb these
early
anymore.
in the arc of Frienddom. We are looking at Season 1, Episode 4,
Look at
otherwise known as the one with George Stephanopoulos, which is, I guess, an ironic title because George Stephanopoulos, you will notice, does not appear in the credits because he's not actually in the episode. He is only off screen, where the ladies are staring at George Stephanopoulos' Stuffaluffagus. I've been working on that one for 2 days. You know, because Stuffaluffagus is
Fucking
very
hell, dude.
tentacle-like appendage. Stephanopoulos is they're all very impressed. I'm going to insert a shot of them looking impressed. What is going on in this episode is that Rachel's
easy
old
lose, bro.
friends from her old
Fucking
life come back to find out that she is now slinging cappuccinos
Yeah,
at
bro.
the Central Perk, which I guess is in the
Bye,
village.
bro.
I kind of escaped me sometime watching the show. And they all live in the village, which is really crazy because they have like square. I mean, I know this joke's been made, but like they really have ridiculous apartments. And she feels real bad about.
Fuck.
About leaving her orthodontist potential husband on the altar in episode 1 and not marrying him because her daddy cut her off, and she's real sad about that, but god darn it, she's gonna make it work. And she and the ladies convene around a blender full of something that Monica calls Tiki Death Punch.
How would you like some Tiki Death Punch? What's that? Well, it's rum and... Okay.
what do we know about it? We know that Monica says that it's pink and rum, and then Rachel starts drinking it. So we don't know anything other than it being pink and rum. Other things going on this episode. Ross goes to a hockey game with his friends.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. No way I pull up a fucking bag and then as soon as I do, I get fucking sorry.
They take him to a hockey game to try and help him get over the fact that it's the anniversary of the first time he had sex with his ex-wife, which is interesting. Man, Ross is a fucking creepy character. Like, there's nothing endearing about Ross. He just inflicts himself on the people around him. Really, like, he's so Ross-centric. Am I wrong? Like, Ross is a very self-centered jackhole. He still got paid $1 million an episode for being on the show, so, I mean, I'll be that jackhole all day long. I thought a little bit, actually, I thought way more about this drink than I should have. I was, like, asking myself, well, it's pink, and it's got rum in it, so how ahead of the culinary curve is Monica, the chef? Does she like making fashionola and like resurrecting lost tiki ingredients in there? Is it kind of a frosé? It's not that, because I've already done that on the show and the link is right below me. So we're not going to tread those grounds again. And I was like, well, what would it be? And then I remembered that it's the early 90s, which means Monica grew up in like the 70s, which is, thinking about generational stuff. It's sherbet punch. It's sherbet punch. That's what it is. It is a sherbet rum punch. We're going to mix it up right now. You don't need a blender to mix this at all. You could easily just build this without the blender. But we're going to do it in a blender because the episode dictates that we drink this from the blender at some point. So if I don't put it in a blender, like, how am I going to do that? We see Monica drinking it in the blender. Okay, fine. It's going in the blender. And I'm going to build a double here. Single serving would call for 2 ounces of my raspberry sherbet. We're going to go with 4. As you can see here, I have got the absolute finest ShopRite brand raspberry sherbet. I don't recommend breaking your back for this. This is the drinking equivalent, right, in the episode of eating an entire pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Hey, Ben & Jerry's, you want to make some drinks together? You guys have money. Let's do some stuff. Come on. Oh, baby. There it goes. Oh, wait a second. That's actually super good right now. What am I even making a drink for? Something about this like cold thing in my mouth is so necessary. I'm gonna put a little more in there. Get it in there. I'm guesstimating my amounts here. That looks about like what I want. Single serving calls for half an ounce of lime, but again, we're doubling, so let's do an ounce of lime here. All barware on How to Drink is provided by and courtesy of Barfly. Check out the link in the pinned comment below to find, to buy all the good stuff I'm using in this episode, except for the blender. That's by Vitamix. 1 ounce of the lean juice. I want 1 ounce of strawberry syrup. Now, I made this strawberry syrup. Now, in another episode, a long time ago, I talked about doing syrup infusions, where you take a sugar and a water and a fruit and infuse it. What's pretty neat about some fruits, particularly berries, is they're so full of water to begin with, and sugar is so thirsty for that water that you don't need to add any water. If you just take Tupperware and I went equal amounts of sugar and fruit by weight. So I think I did 500 grams of strawberries and 500 grams of sugar, and I just let them sit in room temperature for a couple of days. The sugar sucks all the fruit waters out of the strawberries and makes a super concentrated fruit syrup here.
What is your name?
It dissolves itself, so that's exactly what that is. It's the same process by which sugar can turn peels into oleo saccharum. So this is an ounce of serious.
No, why do you keep spawning in the fucking cold?
Syrup. Way more powerful than like an infusion of simple syrup and water because there's just less water, more strawberry by volume. Okay, again, now we want half an ounce of Lemon Heart 151. You ever get your fingernail peeling away from your finger a little bit? It just drove straight into a puddle of lime juice. So I'm keeping it together for you, but I am screaming on the inside right now. All right, so a single serving would call for 1.5 ounces of Plantation 3-Star. We're doubling, so this will call for 3 ounces of Plantation 3-Star. It's tricky to pour like up here, like as a, you ever see those guys riding the motorcycles with the gorilla hangers? How the hell do they drive? Fucking exhausting. Why would you want that? You know, like, what's the point of that? This is like only half gorillas. I've seen guys on like the full 60s style choppers where they're just like straight up gorilla arms like this. I don't even know. What do you want to add 6 ounces of ice to this? So we want to add 3 ounces of ice per iteration of the drink. So 50% by volume. So 6 ounces of ice in this case, which I think is going to be about 3 of my cubes. We're going to crush this up in my Lewis bag a little bit here. This is a very traditional way to create crushed ice. I used to do it on the show all the time. I haven't actually done it in a while. Let's hope I still know how. It's pretty easy. Just put it down here. Ooh, that's loud. Let's do it the speed bag style. I like to do it that way sometimes. We're going to crush this with a wooden schmallet and a Lewis bag. And, you know, I hate Ross. I hate him. I just want Ross to die. I hate Ross. He's the worst. I wish I could just, like, smash his damn brains out. Bang! Okay, and we're going to dump all that into the blender. I almost called it the shaker. I guess it's sort of an auto shaker.
Oh, gosh.
All right, and a lid, as one does, so that it doesn't explode in your face. Variable 1. Tiki Death Punch. I'm gonna take a hurricane glass. And I don't want to go all the way to the top. I actually want to go to about here. Maybe even a little less. Now, I want to top it with some seltzer. Carbonated soda or water is sort of a necessity in a traditional, and by traditional I mean like mid-century, sherbet punch. They're typically non-alcoholic church event affairs made using sherbet and like ginger ale, actually. Give it a quick mix-up. Straw in there. If we were feeling fancy, we could garnish it with a strawberry. I guess it could have an umbrella. And that's our Tiki Death Punch. So it's deadly because it just tastes like strawberries. And it's pretty unassuming. You could easily drink those and put yourself in a coma, actually, if that was your aim. Is that your aim? Why are they always trying to play Twister? What's going on there? Anybody suggests playing Twister, like, that's not just like a casual suggestion. Like, what are we gonna do tonight, guys? And I got one friend who's just like, Twister? Dude. It does have a nice tartness to it. The lime, and I actually think the lemon heart kind of work together here to give it a bit of a tart Demerara evolution that starts out from that strawberry place. It goes strawberry and a tart Demerara. It's very, 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 very dangerously easy to drink. As we know, of course, I'm doing it the wrong way. It's better without seltzer. It's better without the seltzer. Per Rachel, in the episode, you gotta drink it straight from the blender, but let me get like a blender for each of that. How you doing? Oh, I thought it was like a, how you doing? How you doing, tough guy? You think you're fucking, I didn't know that. I didn't realize it was, hold on, I'll do it the sexy way. How you doing? Oh God, when Ross is just like walking around with his buddies, and like at every turn he's just like, oh, litter.
What? Peach Pit? Yes, Bunny?
We littered together the first time we had sex. Oh, a fire hydrant. The first time we had sex, there was a fire hydrant outside. Oh, dogs. They exist on the same planet as the people that I had sex with for the first time. Oh, I am angry. In honest truth, like, it should have been, he should have been like 3 episodes and then not on the show. And then every once in a while, he should come back and everybody just be like, no, we're not hanging out with that guy yet. He's still a piece of shit. Because, like, that guy is an unacceptable. Like, he needed to not be him, you know? Sometimes, you know, like, be yourself is super bad advice if your name is Ross. I just hate him. It makes it almost impossible for me to get through an episode of that show. I just like throw stuff at the screen whenever he's on. Well, this is How to Drink the Show. I make cocktails and how to drink them, and I did drink a whole bunch of them before this episode today. I'm on Twitter at How to Drink. I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/howtodrink. I'm on Instagram at How to Drink. I don't normally do it in that order, but that's the order it came out of my mouth today. If you like my show, I really hope you will subscribe and ring a ding dang dong the bell. I keep saying that. My wife said that that's catchy. That's going to work out. What do you guys think? I just keep saying ring a ding dang dong. I've decided that patrons are now regulars. So become a regular at the Patreon. You know, like the regular crowd shuffling into the bar. Regular crowd shuffles in, the microphone smells like a beer. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh, that song's a bummer song. There's so many bummer songs. But it hasn't been your day, your month, or even your year. I'll be there for you like you want me to. I'll be there for you. Tiki Death Punch will be there for you. Well, there's something strange
in your neighborhood.
Who are you gonna call? Today we're talking about the Ghostbusters. Most specifically, Ecto Cooler. Let's bring Ecto Cooler back from the dead. So Ghostbusters is a 1984 comedy starring Dan Aykroyd.
I order you to cease any and all supernatural activity and return forthwith to your place of origin or to the nearest convenient parallel dimension.
Bill Murray.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Harold Ramis.
This reminded me of the time you tried to drill a hole through your head. Remember that?
That would have worked if you hadn't stopped me.
Ernie Hudson.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes!
As four guys hunting ghosts around New York City. Ghostbusters has got to be one of the most awesome, amazing damn movies of all time. It really is. And it's one of those things, too. The background on how that script got made is one of those things where it was like, you know, it almost happened, and then it went back into, like, somebody else's back pocket, and then it almost happened, and it went back away, and they had to fix it and work on it. And, like, it just got massaged and better before they made it. So Dan Aykroyd had the idea for him and John Belushi to do it, actually.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
And the studio told him, this idea about you and John Belushi kind of like adventuring around through hell and fighting demons, like, I don't think anybody's going to pay to see that. That sounds bad. Of course, John Belushi passed away very sadly.
Why me? Why did I live so long? They're all dead. I'll tell you why. Because I'm a dancer.
The script got kicked over to Harold Ramis, who co-wrote the thing that wound up on the screen with Dan Aykroyd. And Ghostbusters is a huge, tremendous smash hit, phenomenon. So it's going to get spun off into a Saturday morning cartoon show. Well, it turns out that the name Ghostbusters was something that Dan Aykroyd picked up from a 1975 Funimation live-action television show produced by Lou Scheimer. It was, it ran for it was one season long or whatever. It was about two guys and their gorilla / chauffeur who drove them around, and they dematerialized ghosts. Yeah, no, true story. And so he went to Columbia Pictures. Ghostbusters, and you guys are making a big movie with my name. And it's like literally the same thing. It's about dudes fighting ghosts, you know, so he kind of really stole that. Columbia came to a deal with him. They said, we're going to give you $500,000 plus 1% of the profits. And he said, okay, that sounds all right. He got $500,000. Did not get a penny more because somehow Ghostbusters, which had a budget in like the $40 to $70 million range and did $250 million in like its first year in revenue, didn't turn a profit. None of that works. That's an ugly trick.
I'm giving this whole thing as a promotional expense. That's why I invited clients instead of friends. You having a good time, Mark?
So he didn't make any of that money back, and he got really kind of miffed at that deal, and he said, you know what, these guys are going to license the hell out of this thing. He got the TV with his own cartoon, Ghostbusters, before the Ghostbusters with Dan Aykroyd got to TV with their cartoon. So if you tuned in to the Ghostbusters on a Saturday morning, boy, were you in for a surprise, because it was about these two dudes riding a bone roller coaster through a magic mirror with a gorilla and fighting ghosts.
Let's go,
When the animated series from the film was adapted, it was called The Real Ghostbusters, which was kind of amazing. Sort of the trick I pulled when I found out that somebody already owned HowToDrink.com. I came up with ThisIsHowToDrink.com because I couldn't quite get it. So, you know, great minds think alike. Me and Dan Aykroyd basically cut from the same cloth. And of course, The Real Ghostbusters spun off a billion toys as well, just like the film, and a bunch of product tie-ins, namely Ecto Cooler. I guess in the 90s and late 80s, they thought it was okay to just like feed us like gross sugar water. I don't think people feed their kids that anymore. It's like, yeah, you're basically a hummingbird or a honeybee. Just like drink this sugar up. Just drink it up. It's fine. Like, that's not a drink. That's a liquid snack. That is a candy bar. And it actually stuck around a lot longer than the cartoon show. That Ecto Cooler managed to last, at least in product, if not in name, until like 2001. They changed its name. It was like Ecto Blaster or Citrus Blaster or something like that. But it finally went off the market. What actually is it? Well, actually, it's funny. It was a product that Hi-C had going back to the 60s. That was a tangerine/orange flavored beverage that they rebranded into Ecto Cooler for the Ghostbusters. So it was already on the shelf. So we know it's tangerines. That's great. That's excellent. We can work with that. So we're going to make this drink, and this is a pretty cool drink. So this is my Ecto Cooler for grown-ups. This is my Ecto Cooler for grown-ups. This is Ecto Cooler rum, grown-up Ecto Cooler, alcoholic Ecto Cooler, cooler Ecto Cooler. What we're going to need first is about a ½ ounce of blue curacao, and we're going to put that into this shot glass. Uh-oh. Carnival Barker voice is about to come back. I will require 1/2 ounce of blue curacao, and I will put it into the shot glass. There we go. It's a ½ ounce of blue curacao in that shot glass. Set that to the side. This is going to be fun. It's fun. I promise this will be fun. So we're going to need a shaker for the rest of this. We're going to take our shaker. We're going to need... We need a 1/4 ounce of citrus syrup. So we're going to need 1 full ounce of fresh tangerine juice. Here's my tangerines. Probably going to need 2 of these guys. They don't produce a ton of juice. All the barware that I'm using is courtesy of Barfly.
You fucking caught me.
Fantastic and pretty portable bar tools for you to use at home. Check them out. There's a link in the pinned comment at the top of the comment section. If you want anything I use on the show, it's by Barfly. Check it out. And we want 2 ounces of Plantation 3-Star. All right, we're going to shake this drink. 1 large cube and 1 cube cracked. I'm going to double strain this because it seems like my ice obliterated itself in there. And I just want to make sure we have a very clean pour here with no ice. And there is Ecto Cooler. I know I said it was green. Voila. Let's garnish it. We want a wedge of this tangerine. All right, there we go. We've got the Ecto Cooler, the cooler Ecto Cooler, the Ecto Cooler for grown-ups. Tastes like Ecto Cooler. That tastes like Ecto Cooler. The tangerine and the orange curacao, which happens to be blue, but is an orange liqueur, really kind of tastes like that juice box thing. I mean, you have to get past the fact that it's got some rum in it. We use a pretty unassuming rum here with the Plantation 3-Star. The Plantation 3-Star does just sort of blend into this drink and disappear. It is sweet and orangey and got a little bit of citrus bite, and a little bit of that, the tangerine, which is a little bit different than the orange. I think that the bitey part is actually coming from the curacao, and the orange part is coming from the tangerine. So I think that's what's going on there. And it's green. It's green as fuck. All right, we talk about Ghostbusters and what a kind of a weird movie it is. And it's still wonderful. It's just a wonderful movie because it works on so many levels. Because it works on those levels. Because you can watch it as a kid and get it. Because you can still enjoy it as an adult. And a kid and an adult can watch that movie together and laugh at different scenes in different ways, getting different jokes without ever having to have an uncomfortable conversation about what they're laughing at. That's what I think is pretty neat about that movie. I think. I'm pretty sure you can watch that with a kid and they're going to ask you like, "So what does that mean?" I'm sorry, I don't have a non-alcoholic idea for this one. I don't. Yeah, exactly. The non-alcoholic version exists. You can probably order it online. This is more readily available to you, though. What happened to his party? That's what I wonder. You know, he left that party alone. Turned into a dog. And so, who was refilling the Chick-fil-A? We're upstairs. His orders. How do you think his business, his accounting business, did after the end of Ghostbusters? Did he go out of business because of the Ghostbusters? It wouldn't be surprising. They are careless and dangerous individuals. They just destroy lives everywhere they go.
Officer Dinks, what's your problem?
Chilling.
Officer Dinks, man, how are you even on my team? I don't even know who you are. What's your problem, man?
Not much, just chilling.
A bit more chill, my guy. So how did you get on my team?
Huh?
I'm confused, the guy. How did you get in my team?
I don't know.
How have you run into my? How you got into my team, bro?
I'm not sure. How did I get in?
I don't know. You must have. Well, I'm sorry, bro, because I don't really want to come out.
That's unfortunate.
Bro, you've got to be the most stupidest guy I've ever seen. What's your optimism? what's happening down there, you piece of shit.
Are you just gonna abandon this base or what? So you're just not gonna come in, or? All right. How many hours you got, bro? How many hours do you have, bro? How many hours? Mm. So you gonna let me out or come in or what's up? So, what's the plan here, Chief? How many fucking doors?